Oh, so the things that you're going to talk about today, the two or three things you're going to talk about today, you see as kind of distractions from what we should be focused on.
I see them as reasons why people that think that he's perfect should realize that he's not. And people that think that he's the golden light and savior of everything should realize that he's not. And that maybe by poking these holes, the next generation of leaders, if more of us talk about these issues and more of us expect more perfection, hopefully we'll get it. Hopefully people that
and
can...
hopefully people won't seek that perfection where the voters of New York are looking for it.
Exactly. That way they won't go to things like silly Zoran Mamdani communism and things like free buses.
Yeah.
Even though half the people ride the bus for free, and everybody that needs to ride the bus for free can ride the bus for free in New York already. Come on, people, just look it up. It takes 5 minutes. Anyways, there were three things that I see as issues with Donald Trump. One of them being the whole election denial thing around 2020, right? I've listened to a bunch of arguments for hours, as have the both of you. The conclusion I came to is that the 2020 election was not stolen. Yes, there's some fucked up shit that happened in the margins, as do every election. There has been over 60 lawsuits that Trump has filed. There has been no evidence showing that there has been widespread
voter fraud.
Widespread fraud that would cause the election to sway the other way.
All of that is correct. And you know why there wasn't any voter fraud, or very little, or not enough to make a difference in the election? But why some people could say the election was stolen anyway and be like somewhat accurate about it. I have all your arguments between the crosshairs of my superior annihilative intellect.
It's not an argument. It's not an argument. I'm sure it has something to do with mail-in voting.
So I knew, yeah. So, well, I'm looking at a map of the United States, and I'm going to tell you that every state modified their voting procedures except, all right, in 2020, except Oregon, Washington State, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, Wyoming, Kansas, Illinois, and Georgia. And I'm just gonna do a sample here for you. The rest of the country, every state, so that's just a handful of states. Every other state did modifications. So let's go through a couple. New Mexico, counties authorized to send mail-in ballot applications automatically to all voters in the November 3rd election. Everybody got a ballot in the mail. That's not a great big thing. It never happened before.
Yeah, but does that give them the opportunity to vote twice?
Let me finish. Texas. Early voting period for the November 3rd general election was extended by 6 days. Voters required to be notified if their absentee ballots might be rejected due to signature mismatch. Officials required to give such voters meaningful opportunity to cure their ballots. Absentee and mail-in return locations were limited to one per county.
There were changes made because of COVID. There could be fuckery within those changes. I understand your point. Was Trump thinking of those when he called the Secretary of State of Georgia and asked him to find 11,000 votes? And we're talking about Venezuelans breaking in and altering voting machines. Because I listened to that myself, the whole phone conversation afterwards, and I was extremely disappointed that our former president did that and said that to a Secretary of State.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I agree with you. All of it was an outgrowth. All of it was an outgrowth. You have to understand that with Cheeto, everything is an outgrowth of something else. Literally everything. So they accused him of stealing the election in 2016. Hillary Clinton did. They all did. The Russians,
they're piece of shit politicians. Exactly.
He Russians helped Trump. He hijacked the election. Nancy Pelosi's famous tweet: "Trump hijacked the election." Now, you're not going.
She's a piece of garbage.
Yeah,
Like there's
you're
no
not.
argument here at
Yeah.
all.
And here's the thing with Donald Trump: he's a real estate magnate from New York, from Queens. You're not going to hit Donald J. Trump. You're not going to hit Cheeto with, you know, uh,
And you're not going to get his list of subcontractors that are begging to get their money that they never got paid either, because he's a product of a system like all of us. He's not good. He's not bad. He's the same. He makes mistakes and he does certain things well. I was sitting there cheering when he did his little fight thing after he got shot. I thought that was one of the most badass things ever. And I was also like, I can't believe this motherfucker when he made that call to the Secretary of State of Georgia at the same time, because he's a human being like all others. That's my only point. And Mark, you have to see these people that are just cheerleading, and it has to get to you at some level.
oh,
It has to.
the cultists. Yeah, I've got nothing in common with them.
Yeah.
But I don't, and I never have, and I never will. That's why I will happily remind and try to do it cheerfully and sometimes not so cheerfully. Happily remind people that are constantly, no matter what side of the spectrum it is, constantly when it was Joe Biden or when it's Donald Trump, right? And like you sound precisely like the people that you were criticizing during the last presidency. So.
Yeah.
You're out there tweeting about Donald Trump every day, multiple times a day, every single day. And, my opinion is if you're tweeting about Joe Biden being senile every day, 365 days a year, 24/7, and you've never watched a puppy video, you're obsessed. You've got some kind of psychological problem. And I'm happy to admit that, yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah. I don't like the cult of Cheeto, and I don't, but I understand it. We warned it. I say we. A lot of us warned people this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
it's perfectly understandable how it's going to happen, because the left is horrible. Just look at Joe Biden. Look at the fuck you that the Democrats did to all of the American people. No, he's fine. He's not senile. He's not losing his mind. Anybody that looked at any media besides leftist media knows that and knew it for at least a year beforehand. And they kept shoving it down our throat. And then they said, you have to have Kamala Harris.
And
That's
then
it.
they
There's
said,
gonna be no other process.
and not only did they do that,
And if you don't vote for her, you're fucking racist.
I
And
know a
sexist.
few people that were genuinely dismayed when they found out he was senile.
well, a lot of people didn't know until they saw the debate.
Crazy.
A lot of people didn't know until they saw the debate. And one of the reasons why they didn't know it until they saw the debate is because not only was the news media actively participating in the cover-up of him being senile, they were literally saying that clips of Joe Biden wandering off, or that those clips were selectively edited when they weren't. Like, yes,
They absolutely were not. And Operation Bubble Wrap was a thing. That was a real thing. They called it Operation Bubble Wrap. That's basically calling it Operation Fuck You American People. I don't respect you at all.
Yeah.
I get it. And that's why I want to bring this up, because it's like, I get the temptation. But when we have real problems, Jesus Christ, can we just get the best of the best? Can we get the absolute top in leadership?
So
That's
all
all I
three of
want.
us
And
agree.
if Trump helps us get, because he's not going to be around forever, dude. So we'll all be irrelevant in 3 years because we're going to have somebody else.
So all
right?
three of us agree. Yeah. So all three of us agree that Trump should stop talking about how the election of 2020 was stolen. Like, when he's in a speech,
Well, and it also hurts we do need to close these. Any way that somebody can commit fraud needs to be investigated and closed. And if people just keep blowing this off as just Trump being crazy, then no one's going to take it seriously when there really are potentials for electoral fraud out there.
I want to add one proviso, though. And when I mentioned that there were only a handful of states that didn't change their election laws, Pennsylvania prepaid return postage provided for mail-in and absentee ballots in the November general election Absentee and mail-in ballot receipt deadlines were extended with a postmark deadline with zero proof that the ballot was sent after that date. Drop boxes for returning completed absentee uh, mail-in ballots were authorized. It's just a lot of state, yeah. And you said it was because of the pandemic.
It's another way of gerrymandering, basically, right? It's another way that they can nudge rules to get their guys in power. It's the same old song,
Yeah,
right? It's just a new opportunity
they
because of
did
COVID.
use the pandemic to flood the country with mail-in ballots, and I mean that so
Yeah, they
but
did.
yeah,
Absolutely.
but yeah, I think
You're
yeah,
talking to people that do gerrymandering.
yeah,
This is just what it is. It's another. They're going to find
yeah.
another way to do this. These people
And
want to
also
be in power. That's a game.
Susie Wiles should tell Donald Trump to stop talking about how the election was stolen.
It
Okay,
doesn't help America.
jump in here because you guys are talking about gerrymandering. You guys are talking about flooding the marketplace or the with all these fake ballots. You guys are right there, just saying that what he is saying is accurate, and that's what I don't understand. I still do understand.
Some of what he says is accurate, but he
Right.
had
Here's,
60 lawsuits. He didn't win
oh,
2020.
absolutely. But
It
here
doesn't mean that it's not fucked. But him keep saying it makes
makes
the problem worse.
right. But here's what I get, and I am absolutely in agreement with you. You should stop talking about it. We're going from 136.7 million votes in 2016 from the previous or to the next year to 158.4 million. There's a 23 million vote increase. That's 8%. If you go down the path with my chosen AI, Claude, thank you, Scott. You get to a point where that kind of jump from one cycle to the next is not typical. It's very, very rare. Now, you guys did allude to it a little bit with the mail-in voting, the COVID increase, and stuff like that. But I think if we're talking about those, we need to say that maybe there's some truth to the matter.
I think there's a lot of truth to the matter of fraud and gerrymandering by other means, like I mentioned earlier. Yeah, which is essentially quasi fraud. Yeah, absolutely it is. But my point is, he has to stop, just like Mark said. Enough has been done. You can't keep saying it. You lost. Yes, there's fuckery. Let's work on the fuckery in a bipartisan way. But Trump being all Trumpy about it and fuck my enemies isn't going to allow that to happen. We need leadership for the entire fucking country. And Trump being Trump, I hope it gets us there. I hope Trump goes down as the best president that's ever existed. And I hope that, because that would be the best thing for America. I've said this many times. But I just don't see how this fuck my enemies approach, I won, fuck you, helps America. I
He
don't.
does have a lot of animosity.